fucking
My water.
ancient Japanese tradition. Welcome to House Graves and Omens. Welcome. I'm going to just grab my water here. My name is Fred Stewart. And with me, as always, is my lovely co-host.
It's Taylor.
Hi, Tay.
Hi.
And, our heart goes out to Mr. Cowick. His triple bypass did go well. We're not sure how much time he does have left with us. But we are happy to have him back in studio. It's Mr. Cowick. Oh, it was a lobotomy, not a triple bypass.
Oh.
I think it was the doctor from last week that did it. So.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
That's actually where we sent him. We did not send him to New Mexico.
That's true. We sent him to Texas to go see Dr. Death. Now, Marty, welcome back, my guy. How was New Mexico?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Played a show out there, sold out, got to see a lot of friends and family, and we made these cool shirts for the trip.
Dude, fucking sick, dude. MFA, dude.
Pretty tight. We also stopped by Miss Gale's Inn. I gave you a call and couldn't go inside because it's not open anymore, but I looked in the windows and shit and was trying to see something.
Let me in.
You did not commit a B&E.
Yeah.
I did not commit no B&E.
That's awesome.
No B&E.
Might have saw a skinwalker.
Possibly. I mean, so I don't know because I have really bad eyesight and I wasn't wearing my glasses.
And
it was like dark and I had just got there. It was the first day I was there and I needed to go get some distilled water, which was down the road at the store. And it was like dark outside. Mm-hmm. And as I was turning out of my mom's fucking road that she lives on, which is kind of like out in the country a little bit, I was telling Kim, my girlfriend, that I was like, oh yeah, the skinwalker territory, and then we like turn and we see like fucking looked like a guy walking on the side of the street, but I don't know what he had, like a backpack or had something strapped, but he had something like almost like a scorpion tail like up here, and there was a light at the top of it, like going like this as he was walking. So I don't know, and I was like, oh, that guy's weird, and then Kim was like, it's kind of creepy. And I was like, what's kind of creepy?
Yeah, the lesser known anglerfish, skinwalker. So very, very fun. But this week we are getting away from the true crime element just a little bit. There will be some true crime elements to this story, but less of that. And we're going to be traveling far, far away from dirty, disgusting New Mexico. And no, I'm just kidding. But we are going really far away. This week, we're traveling to the land of anime, samurais, and tentacle, But welcome to Japan.
Oh.
We are here for some weird shit, okay? It's all about ghosts and cryptids, baby. Japanese folklore and Japanese ghosts. I am going to do a later episode, not sure when, about just UFOs, because I wanted to include that in this episode, do a whole roundabout about it. But there was so much UFO phenomena. And I'll do a whole another episode about Japanese ghosts. Like, two separate things. But we're just going to kind of dive into, some of the big ones here.
Okay.
So it's about to get weird as fuck. I'm still kind of sick. I'm going through some shit right now. It's a lot.
I'm also very sick. I am sick as shit right now.
It's tight. Marty was starting to get sick. I know that. Or he was going through something.
I'm feeling pretty good now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now that's going to change.
Yeah,
I hope not.
With us.
So we're going to dive into Japanese folklore and some Japanese, cryptids, essentially. And there was a huge list that I found of basically every Japanese cryptid that exists. And much like here in the U.S., there's a phenomenal amount, right? But in Japan, they're all kind of unique, I should say.
Okay.
Like here in the U.S., we have our unique ones. We have we have Colossal Claude, right? Who is our Loch Ness monster. We have Bigfoot, we have Mothman, we have the Jersey Devil, and they're all kind of almost like, a lot of these are omens, right? Like, especially the Jersey Devil and Mothman, like omens of death. But when you start getting into the Japanese folklore, this goes back to, fucking hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So there is so many obscure ones, right? And starting off the list, and we're going to start off strong, it's not a cryptid at all.
Perfect.
So starting off strong, this is about the tanuki or raccoon dogs.
I fucking love Tanuki.
Tanuki!
I owe a Tanuki so much money right now.
So tanukis are real animals native to Japan that look, as their name would suggest, like a crossbreed between a raccoon and a dog. Raccoon dogs.
I love it.
Right? But folkloric versions of tanukis, the bake tanuki, are much more mischievous and powerful. And forgive me if I butcher a lot of these names. I don't speak Japanese, but I'm going to try my best. So if you've ever been to or go to Japan, you have or will undoubtedly run across the status of a wall-eyed, chubby, friendly-looking creatures known as the tanukis. These tanukis are
I was going to say, they're people too, Fred.
They're chubby, cross-eyed, and they're fucking cute. Basically, though, the much more modern, friendly reincarnation of trickster spirits. Tanukis were in the past were possessed by the ability to shapeshift, stretch their massive scrotums.
What?
Yes, to capture things.
That's pretty crazy.
That
Yeah.
was not where I was expecting you to go.
Yeah,
with
they're
that.
taking their it's quoted in there, massive scrotums, and just kind of swallow things up.
That's interesting how like in a lot of cultures like the dog like figure, like I know in Native American culture, I don't know all of them, but I know in Navajo Native American culture, like the coyote is like the trickster god. So it's interesting that like a lot of different cultures, like the dog figure is like the tricksters, you know.
Yeah. So depictions of tanuki, when you look at ancient folklore, show them using their scrotums for anything from makeshift watercraft to making giant comical faces with them. So basically, I'm a tanuki.
What? Wait.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so they're making watercraft and making faces out of their scrotums.
I have more questions now than I did before.
Whoa, you're going to have to hold on to them because this is a long episode. Our next one is something that's going to be somewhat familiar to the show. It's called a kappa. So these are humanoid reptiles named kappa are set to inhabit Japan's ponds and rivers. Sounds to me like a fucking reptilian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they are short, scaly, and have beaks for mouths, have a bowl on top of their heads that contains water. And they get a little bit of sip of that, you know? Just like fucking, you go up and you're just like...
You know what that sounds like to me?
What?
Sounds like a reptilian.
It does sound like reptilian. If a kappa's bowl is emptied on dry land somehow, they are said to lose their magical powers. Although they are generally malevolent, kappa are supposedly supposed to be very polite. If a passerby bows to them, they have to bow back, losing the water in their bowls.
Oh.
If a passerby refills the bowl, they have said to make a friend and ally for life.
Oh, that's kind of wholesome.
Very cute. Now, kappa are known to drown children.
Oh. Never mind.
Because those stupid fucking kids don't know how to refill a goddamn bowl.
Dude, it gets way worse. They are known to drown children, drink their victims' blood, or sexually assault women.
Oh.
But they have 3 obsessions. The first are cucumbers, which apparently they can't resist. The second is sumo wrestling. Understandable.
Obviously,
Yeah, that's badass. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the third is obtaining the Shrinko Dama, jewels that contain the soul located where else? In people's anuses.
Oh.
I was fishing for my soul earlier. Now, you know, it's like I told you, Japanese folklore is very odd, and that's not going to be the only butt-related ghost that we have today.
I mean, we've already talked about a tanuki scrotum, so I'm not that surprised.
Yeah. No, we're starting off very strong. So, you know, to kind of keep it into the, you know, obscure, we're going to talk about the Nori Botoki. The Nori Botoki basically means lacquered Buddha or painted Buddha due to the creature's black skin and minor resemblance to Buddha, mainly because of its large stomach. Their eyeballs dangle out of their sockets. They may have a long tail that resembles a catfish's tail. They also stink. Call them...
Why are you being so mean to him? What happened?
Fucking...
What did he do to you?
I was about to do a whole bit on Marty, but that's way funnier. Now, so... Japanese homes and temples often contain a Buddhist shrine, known as a butsan, a kind of ornate cabinet containing a small shrine within. Right. These butsans stay open during the day, but they are closed at night since it's believed that the spirits can use it to enter the material world. When a butsan is poorly maintained or left open at night, the noribokes, tokes, can enter homes, sometimes appearing as Buddhas who give false prophecies or just dance around at night.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you either get a false prophecy or you get a man just dancing around your home.
Yeah, so it's like, you will create great wishes one day, my child. Or it's like, they're kind of dancing around. So it's pretty fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're very, very, very interesting.
That seems like, comparatively to the last one, I feel like I would rather just deal with them.
Yeah, no, this seems a lot more pleasant. I mean, they're a lot more terrifying, but a lot more pleasant.
Yeah.
So, onwards to our next folklore is the, excuse me if I'm gonna mispronounce this, but it's the Nupepo. That one
sounds right.
So the word Nuperi, it sounds French, but I'm sure that's not how I pronounce it, is a slang term that is often used to reference a woman who applies too much makeup, which is likely the origin of this creature's name. So basically it's just dogging on people. That's essentially what this is. So this creature are blob-like with the suggestion of a face beneath their anamorphous fat. So so they're like, it's so much. Folklore describes them as being generally most likely harmless alongside of their disgusting odor, which smells like rotting flesh. Generally, they appear at night near graveyards and temples. Some sources say that if a human can catch the quick-moving creature, kill it, and manage to eat its disgusting flesh, they might gain eternal youth or a cure to a serious disease.
They might.
They might.
They may not.
They may not. That is correct.
Oh. You're just taking a chance.
Well, I mean, never know. So, continuing on, this one is another fun one. This one is known as a teki teki. So teki teki is more of an urban legend rather than a regular myth, as it is reasonably new. She's the spirit of a girl who was trapped or who was tripped on some train tracks and was cut in half by an incoming train.
Jesus. Now
she crawls around looking for other people to share her fate, which she facilitates by cutting them in half with her scythe. There's a variant, though, with the teki teki myth about a girl named Rekio Kashima who was cut in half by a train. Now she wanders the bathroom stalls and asks people on the toilet if they know where her legs are. If they don't answer with the mentioned railway, she cuts off their legs, which is bad at the best of times, let alone when you're trying to poop.
That sounds awful.
Yeah. It's
all of that.
It's another bathroom ghost, and that is not the only bathroom ghost we'll have in this story. So, I'm going to do some quick fire ones, just kind of get into the flow here. This one is a Gasha Dokeru. This spirit's fairly simple. It's a giant skeleton made out of bones of people who have died from starvation.
Oh.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
They wander around, they grab you, bite your head off, drink your blood, add your skeleton to the pile. Very simple. What are you not understanding?
Oh, I understand it. I just don't like it.
Well, I know I'm never going to become one of those ghosts.
So the next one is the Katakira Urua. This is the ghost of baby pigs, which 1, have 1 ear, 2, cast no shadow, and 3, steal your fucking soul if they manage to run between your legs. Pretty cool.
What?
Yeah.
I'd be kicking pigs in the fucking head.
I think I'd rather be chased by the giant skeleton than be by a bunch of tiny squealing dead baby pigs. But whatever.
To each their own.
Yeah. To each of their own.
I'd rather deal with the tanuki making faces out of his scrotum.
Yes.
Like I don't really like any of that.
Yeah, no, it's not. I love the tanukis. I want to give them a big old hug. So cute. So our next cryptid or ghost or spirit, whatever, folklore is of the Akamanto, also known as the red cape, the red vest. It comes from the term Ake Kami Eo Kami, which means red paper, blue paper, or occasionally the Eo Manto, which is blue cloak. Right? It's either red cloak, blue cloak. It's one or the other, but it's usually a combination of the both, red paper, blue paper. Right? It is a Japanese urban legend about a masked spirit who wears a red cloak and appears to people using toilets in public or school bathrooms. Thoughts?
Another bathroom ghost.
It's a lot of bathroom ghosts.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want to be harassed in the bathroom. Just don't. Like simply, I just don't.
Are you taking a shit? Ooh.
We know girls don't poop.
That's true.
I can smell you pooping.
That's a fucking lie.
So the Akamanto is described as a male spirit, obviously, ghost or yokai, which is a type of Japanese demon, who haunts public or school bathrooms. The Akamanto is often described to haunt female bathrooms specifically, and in some versions of the legend, he is said to haunt the last stall in such bathrooms.
Why are these ghosts always kind of like perverted?
It's Japanese legends, man.
I'm just
I don't know.
not going in the last
I don't
stall,
know what to tell you. The spirit is said to wear a flowing red cloak and a mask that hides its face, and it's sometimes described as being handsome and charming beneath its mask.
Okay, you're not charming if you're harassing me in a bathroom.
Well, he might be charming.
No, he simply is not.
Like, what's up, girl? You taking a shit?
Absolutely zero Riz. Like,
The Riz. The Riz is real in Japan.
I was feeling so long.
okay, but if you can you imagine if both of these ghosts,
Yeah.
the one who cuts off your legs and then also this one, are both trying to harass you in the same bathroom, where you're just trying to have a pee, like you're just trying to go pee,
Yeah.
and one is asking you where her legs are, and then the other is like, "Hey, girl," like
Hey,
I
girl.
would.
Well,
I simply would just leave.
let me at least get into a little more into the Akamanto because it's going to get even more strange.
Oh, good.
So according to legend, if a person is sitting on the toilet in a public or bathroom, school bathroom, the Akamanto will appear. They'll ask him if they want red paper or blue paper. Do you want red paper or blue paper?
I'm gonna go with blue.
I don't know, Morpheus. Where is this going?
Can I have both?
Do you want red paper or blue paper?
I'll take the red pill.
Take the red pill. Okay. Depending on the version of the story, the spirit may ask you to choose between red cloak and a blue cloak, right? Or difference between red cape and blue cape. Obviously, it depends.
Okay.
If they choose the red option, they will be lacerated in such a manner that their dead body will be drenched in their own blood.
Ha, sucker.
And the specific manner in which the person is lacerated differs depending on according to the legend, according to the person being stabbed or flayed. If the individual then chooses the blue option, the consequences range from that person being strangled to all of the person's blood being drained from the body.
You know what?
So
Basically a lose-lose.
It's a lose-lose, but I think I'd rather that over being like filleted or cut in half.
well,
Hey, you know what? Those two could work together. 'Cause
if I had to choose between like being like flayed and like
you would be conscious for a minute.
yeah, versus being strangled. Strangulation on average takes 15 minutes.
Well, it depends on if it's strangulation or if all your blood just gone.
Well, I mean,
I think I'd.
who's
Well, I mean,
to
if the
say?
strangulation, if they knock you out first from lack of oxygen to your brain and then you die later while you're unconscious being
fair.
strangled.
It's true. Very
fair.
true.
I don't listen. You'd be conscious way longer if you were like cut like in half. I feel like.
Semantics, but basically, in the versions of the story, the choosers can either choose between red or white paper, with the former resulting in a red tongue rising up out of the toilet to lick the student from below. The latter resulting in the white hand fondling them from below.
I want that.
Someone's give me that goddamn white paper. Let's go, dude. Trying to get a little fucking freaky with it, dog.
What paper do you have to choose just to be able to shit in peace? Goddamn.
Wet wipes. So, if an individual attempts to outsmart the Akamanto by asking for a different color of paper, a cloak or cape, it is said that they will be dragged into an underworld or hell as a result. In some versions, choosing yellow paper, cloak, or cape will result in the occupant's head being forced in the toilet, sometimes until they drown. Those who bring toilet paper with them into the stall find that it vanishes before they could use it. So there's no real way out of this. According to allowing Akamanto to present them with its options, ignoring the spirit, or replying that it does not want or prefer either kind of paper, is said to make the spirit go away.
I am never, ever going to use the women's restroom in Japan.
Well, that makes one of us. Catch us on tour in Japan.
Listen, like, does this ghost make all the toilet paper in the stall disappear?
I guess so.
Then I'll figure it the fuck out. I'm not taking either.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm just going to walk around with the poopy butt.
I'll figure it out later.
See,
that's a future me problem.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to dress up like a cute little Japanese schoolgirl. I'll be like, and when the Akamanto comes to me, I'll be like, gotcha. Like, just pull a fucking 1911 out and start slinging around.
Then he's going to drag you to hell.
You're just going to say that you want white paper.
Maybe. Look what kind of paper you got. In some accounts, though, rejecting both options and running away from the Akamanto will also result in the individual's survival. So, kind of depends.
Yeah, you just you run away with grease between your cheeks.
And then you waddle away. Waddle.
So, basically, this actually dates back to the author and folklorist Matthew Meyer stated that the Akamanto actually has been recorded as a schoolyard rumor dating back to the early 1930s. Huh. So it's fairly new, right? It's about 100, almost about 100 years old, but fairly new. In that time, the word manto commonly referred to as a sleeveless kimono-style jacket, whereas the modern-day manto, Japanese word for cloak or cape. Because of this, the different generations have different views about the Akamanto's supposedly physical appearance. According to the theory, around 1935, in an elementary school in Osaka City, there was a rumor that a man in a cloak would appear in a dimly lit clog box in a basement, and it took a year for two of this to spread out to Tokyo, and then from there, it just kept spreading.
This reminds me of a phobia I had when I was a kid of like
what?
Of like a hand coming out of the toilet while you're on the toilet. I don't know why. Like I hadn't thought about that in so long, but this brought up some, like phobia I had whenever I was a child.
What is up with the MFA boys having weird shit phobias?
I don't know.
You are afraid that a hand's going to reach up underneath you. Charles,
I was a small child when I had the phobia.
Allegedly.
I mean, I feel like it's the same kind of like fear as like something coming out of the drain though, like out of the tub or like the sink, like that common fear that they play on in like horror movies. It's like similar concept. It's not the same, but it's kind of similar. Mm-hmm. Did you ever have that fear? Of, like, coming out of the drain?
I had a fear of bathroom or of showers for a while when I was younger because I watched the movie Signs. And I always thought that there would be like a fucking alien hiding in my shower.
Oh, okay.
Because you can't see behind it, and you're like.
What got me as a kid also, and it is a Japanese film, is The Grudge. When washing her hair and that hand comes out. That shit was scary.
Yeah.
You need to condition more. Now
I don't know. I never shut the curtain the shower curtain when I was a kid because I did not.
I mean,
I didn't trust
then,
what
I've
was
been
behind
using
it.
anti-dandruff shampoo ever since I saw that movie.
So, but yeah, basically that's what the story was born. It was in this Osaka City, and then in Okubo, Tokyo, in the early 1900s, the Showa era, it was said that the red cloak was a vampire.
Oh.
and that there were corpses here and there, and that had been attacked by the Red Cloak. So vampire, 1940, it spread to Kitakushu, and then it's rumored among Japanese school children, and then a Korean peninsula under the Japanese rule, and just fucking kept going and going. This dude literally like went in deep and found out why, where it came from, which is fascinating. Yeah, it's absolutely bizarre, but that is kind of the end of the Akamantos. Now we're gonna kind of do a little quick one before we get into some different ones. Okay. The Sunakake Baba is a yokai witch who appears in the Nara Hyego prefecture's folklore. She throws sand at travelers, which flies in their face and blinds them, and she chuckles about it and disappears. That's literally it.
That's
cool.
That's just an inconvenience.
You're like, that's cool.
That sounds like my uncle.
Yeah.
Did your uncle just throw sand in people's faces?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't mean to cause any lasting harm to anyone. She just kind of does it just to be a dick, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a yokai entity that's doing this for whatever reason.
Listen, I'll chill with her any day of the week.
Yeah. No, it's
just like hanging out with my uncle. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we're getting back into bathroom stuff. The Akaname is a Japanese yokai depicted in the Toriyama Saiken's 1776 book Gazu Haiku Yago, which with this precursor or evidence of a different entity kind of with a similar name, documented back as early as 1686. The Akaname is also known as the scum liquor or filth liquor.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saw you pause.
Yeah. Yeah, I paused because I was not expecting the nickname Scum Liquor.
So these beings presumably lick the filth and scum that collect in bathtubs and bathrooms.
Nasty.
Mr. Clean.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Scrubbing bubbles.
Ew.
Don't mess with this yokai's kink, bruh. So
I'm gonna kink shame a yokai today.
the word aka means refers to dead skin on a person's body, alongside the dirt, grime, or sweat that may be scrubbed or washed off. The aka can also refer to the scum that accumulates in the bathhouse as a result, perhaps mildew, right? Hence the name Akaname, which means scum liquor or filth liquor.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's very, very fun. There is speculation whether Aka includes the impurities or defilements of the soul or the negative thoughts known in Buddhism as Bono. And the yokai may serve as a warning not to be so preoccupied with such thoughts as to be derelict with the chores of cleaning the bath of such filth. Another speculation is possible connection of sacred water used as an offering in Buddhism, known as Aka water, or in Sanskrit, which is Akaya. So, teaching you guys stuff. Yeah. The name Akaname, like I said, first appeared in 1776. One of several illustrations of yokai collections by Toriyama Saiken, according to some commentators. However, the variant name Akaneburi, with the same meaning, was described earlier in the Kaden book, Kokan. Oh, I have no fucking idea how to pronounce that. Haiku Monogatari Hayoban, which appeared in 1686. So this is a long-standing cryptid within the folklore.
Yeah.
Saiken did not Saiken did not provide any verbal details regarding his Akaname, as was the case in all of the yokai depicted in the similar, the particular early work of his. Supposedly, a lot of these cryptids he encountered or whatever. However, in the Notor Horzo Zuzan, provided ample details describing it as it looking childlike with a pebbly head round eyes, long tongue, and several example what does that say? Antidotes are also provided. So basically, it's got a fucking weird head, it's got a long tongue, it's got big ass eyes. Yeah, it's weird.
Okay.
In classical Edo period depictions of the Akaname resembles a human child with clawed feet and cropped heads sticking out its long tongue in a bathing area. It's fucking weird. What are we not understanding here, right? Ours are just like, it's got a bunch of hair on it and looks like a giant monkey guy. We call him Bigfoot. Like, we're not,
Meanwhile, children with clawed feet.
Yeah. Well,
obviously.
I mean, we have our cryptids that are like that. We have, the fucking Kentucky cave goblins.
Yeah.
Which are like those little green feathers, big old ears. They attack the house. Whatever.
Or like involving children, like the melon heads.
Yeah.
Is another one.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know.
Have you guys ever covered Irish cryptids and stuff, like leprechauns and shit?
No.
That'd be a good one.
That would be a good one. Jinx, you owe me a new kidney. Now, it is also depicted as being an eerie blue-black skin figure. It supposedly spawns in an area where dusk and grime-filled scum at an old bathhouse or derelict tattered home. That is to say that the Akaname was said to emanate. It could also come from like the ki energy or inki and the negative energy of the accumulated detritus and of the Akaname bure also subsist on eating the filth from the bathhouses. So like it's basically the same cryptid.
Yeah.
At the same time, a more sinister type of the Akanaburi, which assumes the guise of a beautiful woman, is also described in the entry of the Nitorhozon Zuzan, one that talked about all the Japanese folklores and the cryptids that gave all this, I'm trying to refresh everybody's memory, even though we're just hearing it. It's a lot of information, but it's the one that basically went into detail about these things. It is said that she will lick away the blood and the flesh until only the skeletal carcasses remain of their victims. Oh. The work gives as examples of the antidote concerning a man who was in the hot springs in Banshu, which is in the Harmina province, and when he was allowed a woman to scrub his back, he was licked down to his bones and he died.
Oh. I was going to say,
I want to go out that way.
Fuck yeah. Marty's like, fuck yeah, dude.
These yokai are a lot like suckerfish for aquariums.
Okay.
But just for bathhouses.
Yeah. Yes. So we are
utility ghosts.
Yeah, utility ghosts, yeah. Excuse me. So now that you have a good idea how weird Japanese folklore is and cryptids are, it's time to talk about their ghosts. One of the stories that I'm going to tell just off the top of my head that I remember very specifically was after the tsunami that occurred in Japan that claimed hundreds of lives, destroyed whole villages.
Was that the Boxing Day tsunami or was that in Indonesia?
That was Indonesia we were thinking of. Yeah. So this tsunami, everybody saw it on the news. Yeah. It destroyed, wiped out towns, and it killed so many people. And we're still getting stuff washed up on our shores to this day because of it. But one of the interesting parts about this ghost legend is that it happened so quickly. People would, like taxi driver. There's a story of a taxi driver who picked up a lady who was soaking wet on a clear day. Clear night, rather. And all she wanted to do was go home. So he drives her home, right? And when he gets to the house, he goes, okay, you got to pay X amount of money. And then she's just not there anymore. Oh. Or people will answer the door in the same village where the tsunami has come through to a person that is soaking wet and saying, like, can you please call my parents for me or whatever? And they're like, yeah, like for sure. Like, give me a second. And then they just disappear. Like, it's a very common spirit within those areas. The remnants of people who have passed in the tsunamis. Now, I'm going to read you some personal encounters from some people who've experienced ghosts in Japan. This is the White Shadow. This just happened in July 2021. I was out for a drive with some friends around noon and was sitting in the back seat. We were stopped at a light and I looked down out the window and I saw a guy walking and looking at his phone. He seemed completely average looking, white t-shirt, black baseball shorts, black baseball cap, but there was a shadow on the wall beside him. Except not really a shadow. It was all white and much bigger than he was, but it was still person-shaped. No legs though. I mean, it's noonish. There shouldn't be any shadows being cast upon a wall, and there is no way that much light could have been coming up from his phone. Whatever it was seemed to follow him down the street, and I watched until we drove off. But that was the white shadow that was still following him the whole time.
Oh.
That was from a man who's Canadian. It's a fun little thing.
Spooky, but just weird.
Yes, very, very weird. Excuse me as I resettle here. So for another story, I drive for a living. One night, I was driving through a passageway under a highway in the bridge of Kanagawa. I saw an old woman standing on the side of the road on the sidewalk behind a safety rail. It's a pedestrian area, not a busy street at all, so I didn't think anything of it. Then I saw her ahead of me again on the side of the road. I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me, but when I stopped at the next red light, still on the same road, there she was again. The light turned green and I stepped on the gas. She ran out in front of my truck. I slammed on the brakes and I was sure that I hit her. When I got out of the truck, there was nobody there.
Oh.
Down the street from there, I found an old sign from police asking for information regarding a hit and run accident. I was too afraid to call and ask if it was about an old woman or not.
That's fucking spooky.
It is very spooky. And for another one, back in my university days, my mates and I decided to head to the Toroku region to check out this so-called haunted hotel. Everything up until we got near the hotel was completely normal. But after we parked and walked in towards the location, things started to get weird. Weird. We had flashlights and were wandering around the building when suddenly it became very quiet. There weren't even any cicadas. It was so much darker than we thought. Rural Tohoku, isn't as well lit as Tokyo to begin with, but there weren't even lights from the highway that we could see. We walked through the entire hotel and its grounds, didn't see any ghosts or anything that odd, to be honest, and decided to leave. But when we couldn't find the car, we couldn't find the car.
Oh.
It was supposed to be parked in this clearing a few hundred meters from the hotel, but there was no sign that we had even driven into the area.
Oh, that's fucking weird.
After getting lost a few times, we finally made it back to the road itself. There was the car, in the complete opposite lane with its lights flashing and all four tires flat.
Oh.
Damn.
The sun was completely up, and we realized that we'd been exploring for nearly 8 hours.
Jeez.
They got stuck in some kind of like alternate dimension or some shit.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I mean, it sounds to me almost like an alien encounter.
Yeah.
Without knowing it, you know. Speaking of alien encounters, there's another story from a British man who visited Japan. One friend says that it was aliens. Another of the Kakushi, also known as spiriting away. The only thing I know is that I walked in the woods. Oh, sorry, this is the end of the story. The only thing I know is we walked in the woods before midnight with a full phone battery and walked out of them with felt like more than 2 hours in the early morning with a completely dead phone. End the story. Excuse me, I got a little mixed up there.
It does kind of. It definitely has like Spirited Away, like the movie, kind of like vibes of where they just like go into a whole nother.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, it sounds like aliens, personally. But you know, Who knows?
knows?
Who fucking knows? Let's go.
I'm not giving you another kidney. I know we jinxed again. You only get one.
You can give me another one. So, for another story, I live in a 5-story apartment building in downtown Nagoya. It is not a new building, but it's not a dump either. Rent is pretty cheap and it's well maintained, but otherwise unremarkable. I live in the end unit and thought my only neighbor was horrible. The first week I lived there, they would bang on the wall constantly. I know I was noisy when I moved in, but I was putting my new furniture together, but come on. I thought they would chill out after my place was sorted, but no such luck. I dealt with it for a month, but then the smell started. It smelled so wrong in there, like old garbage and human waste. I caved and called the building management company, who said they'd look into it. They called back and told me the apartment had been empty since before I moved in. I told them about seeing the door partially open once or twice, thinking it might be a squatter, so he sent somebody out. The staff and a cop knocked on the door, headed in, and found absolutely nothing.
Oh.
It was spotless.
Wow.
No garbage anywhere. No signs of anyone living there for whatsoever. It didn't smell either. So what was all that? I was talking to the lady who cleans the apartment building, and she tells me my apartment was a H.G.O bookend. Turns out the tenant before the last one was an old guy who died half in his bedroom closet. He had fallen and banged on the wall for help. The old neighbors were on vacation, and eventually he starved to death. All the banging and the smells coming from my own place all the smells was coming from my place the whole time. I still live there because I said it was cheap, and so as long as I leave the closet door open, I don't have any issues with the banging or bad smells.
That's crazy.
That gave me goosebumps. That's fucking creepy.
That is such a fun story, and I do love that story because I mean it's very sad, but it's very at the same time it's like it's cool that they're like, well, I'll leave the door open for you, man.
Yeah.
Let's get another one. There used to be a feral cat living outside of my building. The cat is still there, but I don't think it's alive anymore. It's a really friendly despite being wild. People would leave out food or water for it. I would let people it would let people pet its back. It was like our local mascot. Around March it disappeared for almost a month and everyone was kind of worried about it. Then it came back, but it wasn't acting the same. It doesn't eat food that gets left out and won't let people pet it anymore. It just sits in its usual spots and watches everyone. The weirdest part though is that it moves even faster than a cat should be able to. They've seen them sneak up on people before, like on YouTube, but moving from a second floor balcony to a driveway 300 meters away in a blink of an eye is a bit of a stretch, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing is, it doesn't make any more sounds.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it's something happened to it, and now we have a ghost cat in our neighborhood instead. It's kind of nice to know that it liked us all so much that it kept wanting to come back.
That's pretty cute.
It's a cute story. Let me fix my chair here. It's a cute story.
That is a cute story.
So, this one has a fun little name to it.
Oh.
The Tira no Masakado's Revenge.
Oh.
Revenge. Right after this ad break. No, I'm just kidding. My story was mentioned in a different article, but not in any detail. My life was going really well in all regards. I met up with some friends for some drinks, and one thing led to another, and we ended up near the Tiara no Masakado's grave. I was feeling brave and really drunk, so I don't remember exactly what I said, but I do remember knocking over some flowers. Now, this Tiara no Masakado's I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I think I might have it later on. But it is a samurai, like basically like it's the spirit of an ancient samurai.
Okay.
And they're kind of a vengeful ghost.
Oh.
So Just so you guys are aware. So they said they maybe knocked over a vase, knocked out some flowers before they all went their separate ways. I got to my home station, and as I was walking towards the stairs near the exit gates, I got this horrible cold sweat all over me. I know I was drunk, but I've never felt this way before or since. My shoulders got really heavy, and it felt like someone kicked the backs of my knees. I threw my arms out to catch myself, and next thing I remember is waking up in the hospital. I broke both my wrists, chipped a couple of my teeth, and ended up having to take some leave from work and moving home so my mom could take care of me.
Jeez.
Don't fuck with somebody's grave that's supposedly supposed to be a vengeful spirit.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with anybody's grave, period.
Honestly, yeah.
Well, Epstein's.
Yeah.
You know, I don't piss on his fucking roof. You know, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay, certain cases.
Yeah, sometimes piss on somebody's grave and fuck it up. But yeah,
But not in like random graves that you don't know for sure.
Well, yeah, definitely not a
Exactly.
grave of someone who you know is a vengeful spirit. Now, we're going to do haunted locations.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to talk about the Inukane Pass Tunnel, which is known as Japan's most haunted tunnel. So the most haunting story that's been passed on for several decades is around the early 1970s. A young couple drove uphill on the side of Mount Unanaki. They were planning to go to Hazayama, located on the other side of the mountain. And to get there, they had to pass through a narrow road towards the Inukane Tunnel, right? Mm-hmm. However, right in front of the tunnel door, the car's engine suddenly malfunctioned. The speed gradually slowed down, then it stalled. Looking outside, they discovered a path on the right side of the road, so they abandoned their car to go seek help. After a while, the couple saw a sign in handwriting. The Constitution of Japan no longer applies after this point. The road was getting more and more difficult. The trees are getting denser. After going all the way, they came to find a small, scary village. At a glance, the village seemed to have been abandoned. The houses were dark and dilapidated. There was no phone signal, and which doesn't make any sense because it's the 1970s, but, you know, whatever. And there was no sound around. The couple slowly looked around, passing many houses, and nothing changed. The only gloom and chilling atmosphere became more and more obvious. Feeling the situation was a bit strange, the couple decided to return home. But at this moment, something suddenly moved in a house. The man stood in the middle of the road shouting, Then a man stood in the middle of the road shouting, "Welcome to Nanaki Village." He stood about 30 meters away from them, but by some miracle, he immediately arrived in front of them after only a few steps.
Oh.
"We love visitors to the village, but we're afraid they'll leave." With that, he used the scythe to cut the young man's throat, moving with terrifying speed. The boy pinned his eyes wide in shock and collapsed to the ground. The girl, panicked, tried to run away, but he caught her with a grip stronger than anything she had felt in her life. He picked her up with one hand, ferociously hurling her into the street.
Jesus.
There was once a Japanese horror movie based about this true story of the village and the Inukane Tunnel. But before the sight dropped, she turned her head to look at the nearest house and realizing the horrifying truth of the village. Inside each building were countless corpses. As it turned out, the reason the village was so quiet is because all the villagers had died under the death scythe of the madman.
Oh.
The young couple has since disappeared without any further information. Today, people still see the white 4-seater car there, covered in dust and moss on the side of the road, right next to the small road leading into the forest. The tunnel is now sealed from the public. Is it to keep the visitors out or to keep something in?
Spooky.
I would not go there.
That's good. Now, yeah, no, that's definitely going to be a no-go for me as well.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I might take a look. I'm not going to stay there. Now,
Don't go in, at least. Also, I don't know if there's a sign that says the Japanese Constitution no longer applies here. I'm not going.
yeah, absolutely not.
I'm turning my ass around.
I'm fucking out of there, dude.
Because like, no.
Yeah, absolutely not. So, another thing that Japan is known for than tentacle porn, I'm sorry, known for anime and samurais. I kid. And, all these other haunted locations is their military bases. There is a lot of military bases on Japan. It's a strategic location for a lot of militaries, especially the United States. With that comes a lot of servicemen and women who go on deployments to Japan, who live there, work there, everything from multiple countries. And with that comes legends. So I've compiled a few of them for y'all to check out with me.
Okay.
So the first up is, excuse me, I'm just going to trying my voice back.
Yeah, it's fucking, whatever this is, it's super hard on the throat.
Yeah, it started off as fucking allergies. Then my side hurts. I get falling apart. And so if I die, never do another episode of Hans Crazy. I'm just kidding. Do at least one.
Do at least one so we can let everyone know.
Yeah, that I'm dead. Just put my body here. Anyway, the Kanagawa, it's the Atsui. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna butcher this. Atsugi Naval Air Facility in the Coruscant Hangar Bay. Located on the other side of the base stands there an old hangar used by the Imperial Japanese kamikaze pilots. After the Imperial Japan surrender, many pilots killed themselves in this hangar for disgracing their nation. At night, you can hear the doors slamming on their own. Strange sightings of floating red eyes can be seen from inside the bay. And there was at least one incident during watch in which a man dressed in Imperial era uniform walked through the bay access doors and out the back exit.
Oh.
Pretty spooky.
Oh, that's pretty spooky.
Spoopy.
In the same prefecture of the Kanagawa prefecture, the same one I was just talking about, we have the field hospital. The hospital is an old field hospital located on the military base by the name of Sagami Depot. By the name of Sagami Depot. Jesus. There have been reports of noises and individuals walking around inside the hospital. The building is seldom used, but at night, when security checks in, they often find that windows are raised or a door has been locked, is previously now unlocked.
Ooh.
The military police usually have a new soldier go in there to conduct his first night check on the job, which is fucking awesome. Glad to see that's carrying over into the Japanese military. Many have reported hearing someone walking around on the inside. And the Japanese military has also experienced the same. So, it's pretty fun. But now one military base that is known in Japan as being the most haunted, and I have a friend who actually was stationed here, and she said that it was also super fucking haunted. She said there's a lot of weird shit happening. It's Okinawa.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Okinawa, if you know, was one of the sites of one of the bloodiest wars in the War of the Pacific versus the United States versus Imperial Japan. It's where the classic photograph of the soldiers raising the American flag on top of the hill, that's where it comes from, is Okinawa. So this is Camp Hassan. This is at Gate 3. Every weekend at night, a soldier dressed in World War II gear with blood all over his fatigues and a cigarette in his hand would ask the gate guard the same thing. Got a light? Usually the MP would light the cigarette for the soldier, and as soon as it was lit, the GI would disappear. As an update to this, the gate is closed because of this haunting, and they've had a problem keeping Japanese sentries at this gate.
Yeah.
No one wants to fucking be there.
No one
Personally,
Dude just wants to fucking smoke cigarettes in the afterlife, bro.
dude, honestly, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand that it would be frightening, but after the first couple times, I'd probably be like, okay, Like,
Yeah, he
it's
he
fine.
just wants to smoke a cigarette and he's good.
well,
Yeah.
I would try to like communicate with him a little bit. Be like, hey man, what's your name? Like, oh, I'm so and so. Like, ah, man. And then like get a little more information each time. You know, like try to learn from this guy. So again at gate 3, but across the road from it. It just, you know, on the other side, there was a fierce samurai battle down the road at one time. They say at night you could hear the moans of the wounded samurais as they lay there dying.
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
Pretty fucking cool, man.
I feel like that also played a part in why they closed gate 3. It's because it probably wasn't the man just asking for a light.
It's probably like,
that.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just dying.
I think that would be a little bit more.
I don't know. It's pretty spooky. Now, over at gate 1, the apparition of an Okinawa man from the waist up. He just appears. It's very
No.
common. So Okinawa's haunted, man.
Yeah.
At the Makinato, which is the headquarters for spec troops barracks. Doors open and close. There's cold spots. Manual plumbing working automatically. They're flushing toilets. There's a hand coming up, jerking people off. I don't know. I'm just assuming.
Marty's
They
greatest
chose
fear.
the white paper.
Yeah. Choose the white paper. So, and the marine housing in Okinawa, persons living in the area reported a spirit sitting on the edge of their bed or feeling cold spots in certain areas of the house. One person stated seeing a shape of a little man walking through the halls. Just a little man walking through the halls. He's just going, he's walking through the halls. Little man. Isn't that cute? In the World War II room, witnesses have felt and things touch them and that there were cold spots with no wind in the room.
Oh.
So it's pretty fucking weird, if you ask me. It is pretty weird. Wibby weird. Wibby weird.
Sounds like it's haunted.
Weird.
Wibby weird. Wibby weird. Point at you, watcher. Point at you, listener. Point at both of you. Now, continuing on with the hauntings of Okinawa, we come to the United States Air Force storage area. So, like I said, this whole island is haunted mainly from World War II because it was one of the fucking bloodiest battles in the Pacific.
Yeah.
One of many haunted areas located in the munitions storage on the Kadena Air Force Base is located on the Kadena Air Force Base. Along one of the main roads is a small clearing for people to stop and fish in the lake there or jerk off or fucking hope a man with white paper shows up. Whatever. It is reported that some nights when it's foggy, people will be sitting at the clearing, security forces looking for speeders or doing whatever. They will hear noises like feet stomping on the ground. Then they will look into the lake and see a whole battalion of Japanese soldiers marching on the water.
Oh.
That is, I don't know if you know how big a fucking battalion is. That's a lot of motherfuckers.
A lot.
That is quite a few motherfuckers.
That'd be fucking
And
terrifying.
they're marching on the water. That's so scary. And then
Terrifying.
all of a sudden, that person will be surrounded by the soldiers, which is even worse.
Oh.
And then wait, they just disappear.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Oh my God, dude.
God, I can't imagine.
I love it. That's so scary.
I don't think I would like that.
Yeah, like, oh man.
A battalion's a lot.
Here we go. How many soldiers are in a battalion? I'm trying to remember. Battalions consist up to 4 to 6 companies, which conclude about 1,000 soldiers.
Jesus Christ.
So you just have a fucking casual battalion rolling up to you, dude, and they surround your ass and they disappear. Hell yeah, dude.
No. Good on that.
So to kind of keep into the themes of that we've had of military and tunnels, we arrive at the Yokosuka Naval Base and the Gridley Tunnel. This is a narrow one-way tunnel that runs from Gridley Lane to Nimitz Boulevard. There have been numerous reports of people driving through the tunnel and seeing a man dressed as a samurai.
Yeah.
Yes, samurais are badass. The reports are all similar. There are people driving through the tunnel when they look in the rearview mirror and see a man dressed as a samurai standing at the road behind their vehicle when there was no one in the tunnel a moment before.
Oh.
Some people have been so startled by this, but they in fact wrecked their cars into the side of the tunnel. The sightings are most oftenly reported on rainy nights between midnight and 1 a.m. The news-based newspaper, the Seahawk, let's go Seahawks, once featured a story of this haunting. The rumor is that the apparition of the ghost of a samurai who was on his way to avenge the death of his lord when he was ambushed and cut down in the tunnel. Because he failed in his mission of vengeance, he can't leave his place of death.
Oh.
Yes. Samurais are badass. So, we are going to go into the Yokohama and go into H.G.O and the Middle Gate. This is a World War II concentration camp. The Japanese did have concentration camps. There is an actual episode that I'm actually going to do about this. That's going to be very dark. We're going to talk about like Unit 741, I want to say. Blanking on the name. I'm pretty sure it's that, but it's super fucked up. Nazis did some fucked up shit, but the Japanese also did some really fucking crazy shit. A lot of people don't know about it. It's terrifying. It's a lot. So, this concentration camp is where thousands of Chinese and Korean people were put to work and killed by the Japanese army. Now it is a U.S. military housing base. Naturally.
Obviously.
They're like, what's the most haunted place we can build a base? Right there. There are 5 indicators that still stand today. Or sorry, incinerators. There are still five incinerators that stand to this day. It has 3 gates that keep it separate from the Japanese community. The main gate, the middle gate, and the back gate. At the middle gate, gate guards have experiencing hearing voices, footsteps, and the feeling they're being watched. Some have reported a World War II Japanese soldier in a brown uniform with no legs between the middle gate and the back gate.
Oh. That's fucking terrifying.
So we're going to kind of branch away from military buildings, getting it back into some more classic, almost familiar, I would say, to the podcast of haunted locations.
Okay.
This is going to be the Ubetsu coal mine. And as we know, coal mines are not really great. This is in the Hokkaido. Oh, sorry, Hokkaido. Yeah, I think it's Hokkaido.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Hokkaido. Yeah, Hokkaido prefecture. Excuse me. In 1923, the Ubetsu coal mine town and its railway opened, and by 1967, it became one of the largest coal-producing towns in the nation, helping thrust forward the Japanese industry. The town once housed about 15,000 people and was packed with all necessities for its citizens to enjoy a comfortable life, such as its own hospital, its school, and even a theater. Despite these successes, there were countless calamities that plagued the miners and the inhabitants of the town, ranging from gas explosions, cave-ins, collapses of the mines, and eventually an outbreak of parasitic intestinal disease, dysentery.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Dysentery. Fuck you, Terry. So, throughout its period of prosperity, the mines alone caused about 187 people to lose their life in about 47 years of operation, which is surprisingly low.
That's a lot lower than I thought it would
It's
be.
a lot lower than it. I'm actually quite shocked. We look at some other towns where like thousands of fucking people die.
Yeah.
Thus, the village is closed its doors in 1970, and all of its inhabitants left. The once flourishing village became a ghost town. Literally.
Oh.
So funny. Due to the horrific events that took place in this town, it is said to become haunted, with numerous rumors stipulating from the various types of hauntings experienced from structure to structure. Supposedly, the most haunted places in Ubetsu coal mine is said to be the town's hospital.
That makes sense.
Because of course it is. The hospital is said to hold the strongest and most deliberate, not cutting it out. Deliberate. I'm just gonna say, he's a dickhead ghost. Okay, I'm flubbing my words. My brain's falling apart. Okay, he's the most debilitating ghost, spiritual energy in the area, with claims that the sound of a screaming woman or footsteps can be heard all around. Many report instant onset emotions of dizziness or migraines until they leave. So it's attack on the spirit, attack on the body, which is a very intense spear. So some claim upon their attempt to escape, their phone begins to ring repeatedly until answered, and that if you take the chance of answering the call, you'll be met with the sound of wind and the same wailing that is heard from inside the hospital.
Oh, that's so fucking spooky. Hate it.
Next up is the round schoolhouse. So this is the Namahakagashi Elementary School. Not in the same prefecture.
Okay.
Some dogs barking. So if you hear that, I do apologize. The round-shaped schoolhouse was originally built in 1906, named the Botswana Simple Education Center, which sounds like a fucking insult. You're going to the Simple Education Center, kiddo. Yeah, you just learn different, okay? Okay, you just learn different. You just learn.
Is that?
Just learn different, kid. It's okay. So
That sounds like an insult.
it was built as a school for the nearby Mitsubishi Bibai coal mine. For unknown reason, the school went through many name changes, but eventually settled on the name that is now known as the Numahigashi Elementary School. And it's sorry, I'm struggling with these words. Initially, numbers were low, but for the periods between 1940 and 1970, the mines prospered. So did the number of students, eventually causing the housing around to be 1,500 children.
Wow.
Crazy.
God.
It's a lot of kids.
A lot of kids.
In 1947, the school closed for unspecified causes. The general public believed that it was to stop due to drop in attendance from the local mining village closure. Yet rumors claim something more sinister was at play.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun. Something more sinister was at play.
Ooh.
Come in, the star for the director of The Conjuring. And producers of Midsummer. Anyway.
From the makers of Mitsubishi.
From the makers of My Little Pony, Mitsubishi. Comes the summer's hottest horror flick. Anyway, no. But this is a very, very terrifying little story. It's very relevant to what we were talking about earlier. Records state that during a class break, one of the female students suddenly disappeared from school. Upon this realization, student teachers ended a class and called the girls home to check to see if she had gone home sick. The family knew nothing about the girl's whereabouts. The entire school spent the time looking for her, but she was not found anywhere. So the police were called in. It is notable to mention that during this time, kidnappings were prevalent in this town, and in Hokkaido. They were prevalent in Hokkaido, but no one could understand how the young student could have gone missing during a short break period. It was then rumored that the girl had been spirited away.
Ooh.
Dun, 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 dun. Today, visitors to the school ruins and locals in the area claim that the spirit of the girl can be found around the school with a red backpack, and countless others have claimed to hear the giggles being heard from the nearby forest.
Oh.
It was sorry.
I was going to say, I don't really think that qualifies as being, like, spirited away then, if you can contact, like, where you were.
I don't know. It was rumored that a psychic visited the school in an effort to free the girl's spirit. But there was so much negative energy emanating from it, the psychic had to physically run away.
Oh.
Some people claim that darker entities reside on the school's grounds, and that a simple visit has been enough to drive some insane. Okay. Next up, we have the Yagi-yama Bridge in the Miyagi Prefecture. During the day, the Yagi-yama Bridge is your run-of-the-mill transportation structure. It's a fucking bridge. It's the bridge. I saw Mothman on bridge once.
It's the bridge.
It's the bridge. So it's one of the main ways to access the many popular tourism spots in that prefecture that has after. And beneath the Yagi-Yama Bridge is a valley of very geological valuable strata. However, in the case of which however, as the case with every other location that I've talked about pretty much on this list, when the sun sets, the atmosphere of the simple structure drastically changes and turns into scary shit.
Ooh.
Obviously. Since its erection in 1937, nice. The Yagi-Yama Bridge has unfortunately been the location of many suicides. Obviously, it's very common with large standing bridges that have deep valleys. It's
and large erections.
In large erections. Jesus, man. Despite the prefectural government's significant efforts to prevent these actions, such countless attempts to redesign the bridge and the implementation of bars and nets, there are still numerous tragic incidents that occur to this day. It is said that not only does this energy emanate from the bridge at night, but other dark energies at play willingly passerbyers and motorists to black out or to be involved in accidents.
Oh.
As mentioned earlier, the Yagi-Yama Bridge is a necessary structure of transportation in the area, and many locals rely on it for its existence to accomplish their everyday life necessities. Due to this, for those who do not drive, their public transportation bus that runs over the bridge until morning, until into the night. However, not many people use this bus route due to the bridge's reputation. The night bus, especially, is rumored to act as a bringer of souls to the other side.
Oh.
It is said that the living should attempt to ride the bus, even unknowingly. They will be unable to get off and be taken to the underworld.
That's what happens when you ride the 20 at 9 p.m. at night.
I also wonder what is like, sorry, the bus drivers of those buses. Like, how do they get home every night?
Well, I mean, they
or is it just a whole ghost bus?
I think it's a
the
ghost.
bus driver is a ghost.
I think it's probably a ghost bus.
I think so.
Ghost bus. They're like, he's like, like, all right, man, I'll see you later. I'm gonna let Harbinger, fucking the Soul Eater grab the bus for the night, and he's just like, W475. They're like, okay.
That just seems like the average TriMet bus driver.
That's
Is that
true.
where you're getting
Yes.
your reference from?
But we're getting kind of into a more familiar area. This place is called Sunshine 60, and it's in Tokyo.
Oh,
Never heard of it.
Sunshine 60.
Sunshine 60 or Tokyo?
Sunshine 60.
Oh, okay.
You said familiar, and I was like,
Well, no,
Never
Tokyo
heard
being
of it.
familiar. It's
oh, yeah. I'm
So I
familiar
was
with
like,
the word.
what the fuck are we talking about, man? Fucking lose it!
I don't know if it's you losing it. It might be Marty.
Tokyo is a place in Japan. Right?
Sure. Are you sure?
I think so.
Okay. So the Akiboro's Sunshine 60 is a place that almost everyone who lives in Tokyo or nearby has visited at least once. This skyscraper was once the tallest building in Japan and was a pinnacle of Japanese innovation, using a city-in-city design to incorporate offices, convention centers, shoppings, entertainment, hotels, health centers, all in one building.
Tokyo sounds pretty big.
Tokyo's huge. Yes, Marty. Tokyo.
I feel like I'm not the dumbest one in the room today.
Hello? I want to go to the Simple Education Center.
Well, seems like you should have went a long time ago. Now, today, it remains a popular tourist attraction for all who visit Tokyo. What many don't know is the dark history the land it's built on holds. Sunshine 60 is built on land that formerly housed one of Japan's most infamous detention centers, Sugamo Prison. From the 1920s until 1945, Sugamo was used to house political prisoners. Then after World War II, the United States used it to hold as many as 2,000 suspected Class A war criminals, including the former Prime Minister Hideki Tojo. These war criminals were often executed following their trial. The prison closed in 1962 and was torn down in 1971, with Sunshine 60 being built to completion just 7 years later. It's said that the name Sunshine 60 was chosen to attempt to distract visitors from its morbid reputation as a former execution ground. However, the rumors still claim that the 60 in the name is said to represent the 60 executions that took place there. Many locals also state that the building looks too much like a gravestone for their liking.
Oh,
Ooh.
spooky.
Yes.
I've heard of Super Mario Sunshine and Mario 64.
Yes. Thank you, Marty.
Again, my statement still stands. I don't think I'm the dumbest one today.
Yes.
Tomorrow, however.
So our next location is the Odoran Bushi in the Yamanashi Prefecture. Jeez, getting it down. I'm trying to learn. Off of an old road that was once part of National Highway 411 is a beautiful scenic spot known as Saiko Waterfall. To the oblivious, it would be an enticing tourism rest stop to enjoy Japanese countryside, lush full of greenery, a gorge, and a waterfall. But the chilling history behind the beauty may make you think twice about stopping over. This beautiful scenery happens to be where 55 women forcibly fell to their deaths.
Jeez.
During the 16th century of the Sengoku period, one of the richest clans in Japan were the Takeda. This is due to the lands in which they were based. The landlocked area in which only way to build their wealth and funds of their armies was to mine. Excuse me. Burping. As a luck would have it, they struck gold. As a result of the proliferation of the clan's gold mining, their operation required many guards, miners, and women to entertain their men on the off hours. The Takeda clan was very protective of their gold, not all it being used to fund their armies, then often hid their gold around in their lands, burying in the hills for safekeeping, or offering them to the gods. Throughout their rule, the clan experienced a leadership change. Unfortunately, this was during a brutal warring period. During the Battle of the Nagashino in 1575, this goes to show how far back this goes, the Takeda clan was devastatingly defeated. As such, they scrambled to keep their hidden family secrets, namely their gold mines. Though the mines began to run dry, the family was still worried that their mines and stockpile would be discovered, and soon paranoia spread throughout the dying clan. To keep their information from spreading, they targeted the women, concerning that the prostitutes would have learned the location from the gold mine from the men they entertained. The Yanagasawa River, over the Yasugana River, a platform was constructed. Upon its completion, the prostitutes were invited to dance and celebrate at a farewell party. In the midst of their dance, soldiers began chopping away at the vines that held the platform, causing it to collapse, and all 55 women fell into the ravine below.
Jesus.
Due to the sudden and immediate death that happened there, it is said that the land has been imprinted by the spirits of those who have died there. Most of the hauntings are said to occur at the Odoran Bushi, take place predominantly at nightfall. Those who have visited those who have visited claim that they hear the cries and the screams of women falling to their deaths.
Jesus.
It is cautioned that men do not visit the Orion Bushi. It is said that the vengeful spirits might attempt to take their revenge on any man who comes near the site.
Oh.
Near the bridge today stands a monument and a sign. The sign tells the story of what happened at the Orion Bushi. According to legend, it is said that you read the entire sign, a curse will be placed upon the reader.
Then why put a sign?
Well, they don't know it's going to cause a fucking curse, man. They're just trying, you know?
I mean, they could, I don't know, take it
They should have a
take it
sign
down.
next to that sign that says, do not read this sign.
Yeah.
There you go.
And now, for our final location in Legend Japan, we visit the most infamous, the one that is probably known the most for those who look into hauntings in Japan. This is the Okigara Forest. It refers to, it is as referred to in Japanese, the Sea of Trees is undoubtedly the most famous location on this list.
I've heard of that.
This is also known as the Suicide Forest.
Yeah.
It has been the topic of many horror films, horror novels, and unwarranted YouTube videos. Looking at you with your fucking dumb little hat. The Okigara is unfortunately known as not only the most famous suicide location in Japan, but the second in the world after California's Golden Gate Bridge. This is the only place in the world that rivals the Golden Gate when it comes to suicides.
That's insane.
For those who have looked into the Okigara forest, you'll see that it is full of beautiful, lush greenery and consumingly dense landscape that blocks out even the brightest of sun rays, creating a constantly eerie atmosphere of quiet and darkness. Thus the name Sea of Trees. And it's striking. It's quite a beautiful place. Due to the last eruption of Mount Fuji, the ground is rough and the soil is made of ingenious rock. Excuse me. Several caves lie deep under the ground, penetrated by the widespread roots. Okigara, despite its reputation, is truly a beautiful place to behold, like I was saying. It's absolutely gorgeous. So how did such a wonderful place become steeped in mystery and misery? Historically, it is said that in periods of famine during the feudal era, people would bring their family members to the forest who they could no longer afford to feed. Usually older women, and leave them to starve to death. A practice called ubatse.
Jeez.
From then on, it is said that the souls of those who have starved were unable to move on and populated the forest, taking anyone with them they felt matched their miserable status in their family. Consequently, many locals began to stay away. Later in 1960, the macabre reputation of the forest was revitalized by the release of Kurujukai, or the Black Sea of Trees. A mystery novel written by Saiko Matsumoto that ends in the dramatic suicide of two lovers in the forest. Subsequently, in 1993, another book titled The Complete Suicide Manual, written by Wataru Tsurumi, controversially explained the various types of suicides and even recommends the Okigara as a perfect place to die. This book bizarrely went on to become a bestseller and is often found left behind belongings of suicide victims.
Jeez.
In Japanese mythology, it is said that the Okigara is haunted by demons, and those who enter the forest will never return. Due to the dense trees, many hikers do lose their way. Moreover, due to the magnetic iron in the volcanic soil, compasses and mobile phones have often been rendered useless. The Japanese believe that any person who dies with a deep sense of hatred, sorrow, anger, or desire for revenge cannot pass over to the afterlife, and thus will become a yuri, or a ghost. This belief is continued today, and it's evident that the body retrieval practices made by the forest explorers. When a body is found in the suicide forest, volunteers place it in a room next to the forest before being sent to the authorities. The legend has it, if the body is left alone in the room, the yuri will move around screaming.
Ooh. That's
And that is
spooky.
Haunted Japan.
wow. That was really good.
That was a very fun
It was
episode.
very entertaining.
It was super, super fun. I wanted to end it on the scariest one,
Yeah.
in my opinion, because there's so many legends about the suicide forest of, like, you know, people who have gone in there to go kill themselves. And there was a story that I read a few years ago about a guy who had gone in there to go take his own life, and he met a woman in there, and she was like, "You don't need to be here. You don't want to be here." And he was like, yeah, you know, maybe I don't want to be in here. You know, like, I don't really know.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you don't understand. You don't want to be in here. Like, and then she just kind of disappeared.
Oh.
And he was like, okay, what the fuck? And he tried to leave and he got lost.
Oh,
and then he started hearing the sounds of these supposedly demonic entities that were roaming around him trying to take him. And he somehow found a way to escape the suicide forest.
Whoa.
And he tried to make it his, like, lifelong goal to, you know, not allow people to go there.
Yeah.
Commit suicide, so it's very scary. But were you guys scared?
It was pretty
I was
spooky.
spooked.
All right.
I've learned a few things.
I learned about Tokyo.
Sunshine 60, my friend. Yes.
I was going to say that I learned not to go into the women's bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
I also learned that
I fucking might, dude. Whatever.
I also learned Marty would choose the white paper, so. Which is odd because that's a childhood fear of yours.
It sounds better than getting filleted or strangled to death, though.
Yeah, I'll get fucking diddled a little bit, dude. I'm here for it. If you had a lot of fun watching this episode or listening to this episode, be sure to rate it 5 stars and listening to the apps, or like, share, subscribe on YouTube. But we'd really appreciate it. Give you a big old kiss. Mwah, just like that, baby. Give you a...
I hate everything about this. I need to take a monitor out.
I'm gonna sink. So be sure to follow us on our socials at HGOPodcast. You can follow us on Facebook at Hans Graves and Omens. I am actually trying to collab with some other podcasters, and hopefully they're gonna come here very soon. We'll see how that goes. You know, maybe we just gotta figure out the schedules and shit. Very, very fun. But be sure to check out our other shows. We'll try to get the doc out here soon. We've been we've been slacking on that really hard. And all my friends are dicks. That needs to come out too. But if you want to follow us on me directly on Instagram, you can. If you're not a ghost, even if you are, you can follow. It's funny because just slide in my DMs, ghost DMs, be like you up, and I'll be like.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can follow me on Instagram at HGO. Sorry, I hunt the haunted on Instagram.
You can follow me on Instagram or TikTok at Lunar Thrill. Just one word. That's the only social media I really have or use. So we'll kick it over to Martine over there.
You can follow Martin on Instagram at Ghetto Feather. Back to you, Fred.
All right. Well, welcome back, Marty. We figured we'd start it off strong with you coming back. And remember, as always, to stay spooky.
Stay haunted.
And, don't fucking choose the paper.
Stay the fuck out of the forest.
Stay the fuck out of the forest.
And girls' restrooms.
And if you get surrounded by a whole battalion of Japanese ghosts, maybe just give them a little kiss. What are they going to do about it? Nothing. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.